Now, once you have, this would be available under your subscription ID in the Azure portal. So once you've been assigned to this, you would head over to the Azure portal, assuming you have an Azure subscription at this point. So that's an important prerequisite. So this is my Azure portal. Obviously, I have a bunch of other resource groups and services running. But what you want to do is you want to head over to Cognitive Services. And you want to create a resource for Azure OpenAI. So you'd go ahead, you'd click Create here. And you want to create a service. It's that simple. So you would either want to create a new resource group, assign it a name, and then assign the pricing tiers. And you can view the pricing tiers. I would start with standard SO for now. If you're probably already familiar with how OpenAI works, they charge based on the amount of tokens that are processed. So I would go ahead and just look at the first tier for now. But it's that simple to create a service. Now, I've already created a service, so I will show you exactly how my service setup looks like. But once you've created a service, and I've just called this Azure OpenAI - company, on the overview page, you'll be able to see, you'd actually be able to navigate over to the Explore window. So let's go ahead and check out what this is. Okay, great. So this is the Azure OpenAI Studio, and it works in a very similar way to the OpenAI Playground. It is just hosted within the Azure infrastructure. So for example, you can get some code samples. You can even open the Azure OpenAI Playground, and you can use this. Looks very similar to the OpenAI Playground, but if anyone is not familiar with the Playground, I will just summarize exactly what you can do here. So this Playground you can use to test how the model is able to generate text or tokens. You can also play around with some parameters here. Usually temperature is the most fiddled with parameter, and it is a sense of how random the outputs will be. So as you put temperature down to 0, you get repeatable and similar answers. If you increase the temperature, the model will allow for some more randomness and variation. But you can go ahead and play with this Playground. Now, in the context of our use case, let's consider this example. We'd want to, let's say, summarize an email into certain categories. So we would generate a very simple prompt to say that we would tell OpenAI to say that your job is to categorize incoming emails into one of the following categories. We would list some here. So we would say, for example, let's call this investment opportunity. Let's also call this sales opportunity. Let's call this customer support. And we can just stick with 4 categories for now and other. Great. So now we will write a fake email. So let's write an email which may be, for example, a customer support query. Say, for example, hi, I am currently having issues with using your SaaS product. Is there, I think this might be a bug. Can you please check this for me? Now, I would classify that as a customer support email if I saw it. And the way that OpenAI works is it works on completions. So you have to be able to construct a prompt in a certain way and be very clear about what the model will complete on. So what I've done here is I've not only specified an email, but I've also specified a placeholder for a response and left this blank. And that gives clarity to the model that it has to complete this response. And so if I go ahead and click generate, yep, it correctly came up with the classification of customer support. And if I go ahead and let's choose let me write another email. Hi there, I am interested in licensing your SaaS product. Can you please give me some pricing? Yeah, I would classify that as a sales opportunity and see how it does there. Great, sales opportunity gets it pretty much right every time. And then we can let's try investment opportunity. Let's say hi there, I am interested to participate in your, and let's avoid writing the word investment. Let's avoid making it too easy. So if I was to send an email about an investment opportunity, I would say, hi there, I'm interested to participate in your capital raising round. Do you have any allocation open for me? Right, so I haven't mentioned the word investment. Let's see how it does. Yep, investment opportunity. So we could be pretty confident that this entire prompt is generating pretty good responses. And when you want to be able to actually take this and use it within your application, you can just hit this button here, code view, and you'll get your complete sample code that you can copy and paste into Python or even into JSON or Perl. It doesn't matter. For the purposes of this tutorial, we'll be going through a Python code. So you can directly get your prompt. It already has your prompt configured here. You don't need to do anything else. You probably need to, though, adjust this prompt so there is a placeholder for the email, for incoming emails, but we'll go over that a little bit later. But the whole essence is you can use your playground to experiment with prompts, and once you're confident that your prompt is producing correct outputs, you could then go ahead and transform this into code and deploy this into your application. I think, Kasam, do we have a question?
Actually, I raised my hand.
Okay.
Just wanted to know, like, is this prompt is responding based on the deployment option we have selected on the top, that dependency, or is it something coming from the Azure OpenAI service itself, or we have deployed on top of it something? The deployment.
Yeah. So your question is the response based on this deployment here, which is DaVinci?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So DaVinci is probably one of the most popular large language models from OpenAI. The way you can create a deployment on Azure OpenAI is very simple. So one thing that's actually a good point, because I would say that other models offered by OpenAI do have different performances. So you can actually go ahead and create a new deployment. So you'd first have to select from a variety of models here. Now, this prompt is dependent on which model you select. For general text and for the majority of NLP tasks, you would select Text DaVinci 3. Text Query, Text Adder are also good, and there is some trade-off between speed and accuracy. But I would say the model that encapsulates the best speed and accuracy trade-off is DaVinci. So if you go ahead and create a deployment here, please ensure that it is on DaVinci. That would be my recommendation. There are other deployments that you can use to serve different functions. So for example, a more advanced function would be to use, let's say, embeddings, which comes under a different model. I think that is a text similarity, one of these similarity models here. But DaVinci 3 is definitely the best for general text tasks. My current deployment is actually based on Text DaVinci 002. There is an upgraded version of this model, which is 003, which does perform significantly better. So definitely, creating a deployment is very easy. You just click here, create a new deployment, you name it whatever you like, select the model. But my recommendation is to avoid getting confused, start off with Text DaVinci 003. It has the best trade-off for speed and accuracy. So I hope that answers your question, Kasam.
Yes, Nikhil. Yes, thank you very much. Actually, the other day I was just trying to have like playing with Chat GPT APIs with the OpenAI, not with Azure OpenAI, with the OpenAI's website. And I was just trying to get it into the .NET application. And at that time, I have selected this Text DaVinci 002. So I was just a bit confused, like which model is being used over here. Like, but yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yes. So when you create your deployment, you would select your model, and then you'd select your deployment name. Now, out of interest, Kasam, in that use case, were you trying to get the OpenAI to produce, let's say, code behind a .NET application based on a prompt?
Yes. So I was trying to have a console application wherein I added this API and passed this the temperature, the tokens, and this prompt. And basically, this was the default model which it was it added as 002. But there were some other models too, but it was not recommended as per their site. So I was my confusion was which model is being supported by Azure OpenAI services. So is it 002, right? But you recommend it as 003.
Yeah, 003 has been recently added to the Azure OpenAI service. So I would definitely recommend to choose Text DaVinci 003 as the underlying model. But especially if you're looking for a task which is generating code based on a string prompt, definitely use Code DaVinci. So I've already created a deployment for this is one of the Codex series of models, and they perform much better when creating code blocks based on any given prompt. So I definitely recommend to check out Code DaVinci 002. So you may have already tried that, but just an FYI for people not familiar with that.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Great. I think we had another question in the chat from Ranajit. So is this sample code available only in Python? So actually, no. So this sample code is available. You have Python, JSON, and curl. So yes, it's limited in terms of the options, but you could mimic this in JavaScript or any other language that you choose to do so. But yeah, the most popular framework to use OpenAI is Python. But I will actually, what I will do is I will just I'll go back to my presentation. What I did want to go over is just some sample code that you could use, and I will deploy this on my GitHub so that anyone can pull this down and have a go. But if I go ahead and just let's look at some high level code. So nothing too heavy right now. It's just very high level code that I think would be a good start if we were to build a similar application to this.